Hello! Hopefully if you're tuning in now, you have finished prepping your syllabus in Microsoft Word and you're ready to export it as a PDF. We will go over that process and I'll show you how to generate an accessibility report for your document, and I'll go over a few key areas to review. So let's go ahead and get started. From your Word doc, you'll select File, Save As. And here, you'll want to switch over to PDF. And I'm using Microsoft Word 2016, and I've got this option for best for electronic distribution and accessibility. And so I've got that checked. If you are using a different version of Word, there are some other step-by-step instructions from the Office of the Texas Governor that you can go over to make sure you have everything checked for accessibility. But I feel like this one is just super easy to use. And so we'll go ahead and get this going with the export, and done. So once we're finished there, you can open up your document in Adobe Acrobat Pro. So you'll see that here. So the first thing to do once you've got that document is to go ahead and we want to create a shortcut to our accessibility report. So the way to do that is to tab over here to Tools and to scroll down until we see Accessibility. And so it's kind of hard. It's off the screen right now, unfortunately, but I'm going to go ahead and add that shortcut, and you'll see that it popped up right over here with these other tools that have the shortcuts. So now when I go back over to my document, accessibility is still there. So I'm going to click it now, and you'll see that this menu changed. We now have all of the accessibility options for our accessibility report. So the first thing we're going to do, the first one that we're going to look at here, is the full check. So we're going to go ahead and click that, and you're prompted with this screen, and just go ahead and select to start checking. You'll see that now this navigation pane over here popped up on the left hand side. So you will always see over here under this document drop down that there will be two items that have to be manually checked. Now you may have issues with some of the other items listed, but the two that will always need manual check are logical reading order and color contrast. And those are just because we need humans to check some things. So to help us address this logical reading order, you can access the reading order two ways. You can access it over here in reading order, or over on this side with this little Z that is also the reading order. So when you click on it, what you'll see is that your document appears on the page with different boxes in it, and it's numbered to show you kind of what that reading order is. And you'll see this one, based on what we did in our Word document, is following the correct reading order that I would want for it. So the image will be read first, followed by this main text box on the page. You can also follow this up over here on the side. You'll see the little tree that shows for each of the pages what that reading order is. So like jumping down to page 3, you can see, this first box at the top will be read first, followed by this second, and then followed by this table at the bottom. And so it's just a nice way to verify that everything is the way we want. Now, if we determined that we wanted one item in a different order, you can go over to the tree and drag some of these items to flip the order. You'll see the little bar appear, and that will allow you to change that order. But for now, I'm pretty happy with things, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it. So I'm going to go back over to our accessibility checker. That's this icon right here. And I'm going to right click on this and select Pass because it's following the reading order that I want it to have. Now, as for the color contrast, as long as your syllabus is using black text on a white page, you should be fine for accessibility, and hopefully you've got your hyperlinks in a nice blue color like we've got here. But if that's the case, you should be good to go with your color contrast. If you're using some other colors, you may want to look at some of the web resources that I post about how to check and verify that you're using approved color contrast. But for now, because I know that this one is following those recommendations, I'm going to select pass for it as well. So now we've finished everything under this document dropdown. It looks like we still have one issue under this page content. So it says something about tagged annotations that failed. So I'm going to open that up and see. It looks like this email address did not get tagged appropriately. So let's go ahead and take a look at the link. It looks like it should be working appropriately. We do want it to email to Dean Sweats. I'm not seeing any other issues with it, so I'm going to go ahead and hit OK and select skip rule for this one. And that's okay. You can do that because sometimes, like I said, this is an auto-generated report, and that's why we need humans to check it. So I feel pretty confident that that link is going to work the way it needs to for email purposes. So I feel confident going ahead and selecting that one's okay. So you can go through the other items. If you aren't seeing any text next to the header that says that something is an issue, you should find all checkboxes next to everything else in your document. You will see under the table that says that we have skipped the summary, and we're getting a little warning icon next to that. And that's okay. We skipped that summary because our table has this nice paragraph right here that leads into it that explains that the course schedule is to follow. So in this instance, we really don't need to provide a summary because that's how that paragraph is behaving on the page. So I am very comfortable keeping this one skipped. Again, it's part of doing a manual check for these items. So we'll go ahead and check the lists are good, and our headings have appropriate nesting. So the reason we're getting the all clear on so many of these items is because we did that work prepping our Word document. So, a couple of things like that email address may not come over exactly as we had planned, and so that's again why we're doing that manual check. But for the most part, hopefully the bulk of the work has been done in our Word document. So now we're done with the full check over here. We can flip over to the accessibility report, and you'll see again over here on the left, this is that same information that we were just looking at. It's just presenting it in a different form. So I just want to call your attention to this so that if you prefer this form better, if you find that these descriptions are easier for you to identify with and help you make those corrections to your page, you are more than welcome to look at this in the accessibility report. The only trick is you have to run that full check first before you'll be able to access this accessibility report. So the last item over here that we're going to check is the set alternative text. Okay, so this is for images. So when we hit that, we get this message right here that says that Acrobat will detect all the figures in our document. So we hit OK, and we can see, remember in our Word document, we set the alternative text to say ASU logo, so this is verifying that that alt text did save over to our PDF, and so we can just hit save and close and feel confident that that we did that correctly. Another item you may want to check over here would be your tags for your documents. So if this is something that's easier for you to look at, a lot of this really just depends on your own preferences and how you prefer to check these items. But you can see kind of where the paragraph text in the document is. You can see where the figure, that's our graphic, our image is in the document. So if this makes sense for you and this is a way that you want to review the information, you can do that as well. So for the most part, that really hit the main points of what you should be verifying in the accessibility checker and the accessibility report. I would say that this icon right here is really the key and will provide the basic overview of all the information that you need to review. So at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and save my document and get ready to post that to Blackboard because we're done. Congratulations!